The federal government does not offer the same home repair help to every senior who needs it. Two people can own nearly identical houses, both leaking, both cold, and one of them gets handed $10,000 that's never paid back, while the other gets nothing from that same program. Not because one deserves it more, it comes down to where the house sits and how old the person inside it is. So I won't read you a list of programs and leave you to work out which doors are already shut. We'll do this the other way around. 4 groups. Find yourself in one of them, and you'll leave with your own number to call and your own words to say when somebody picks up. Group 1 is 62 or older in a small town, and a loan payment is honestly out of reach. You're the group that $10,000 was written for. Group 2 is 62 or older. Same kind of town, but you could carry a modest payment. There's $40,000 waiting at a rate I'll have to say twice because nobody believes it the first time. Group 3 isn't in a small town at all. City, suburb, somewhere with a real traffic light. The big grant is closed to you, and I'd rather say that in the first minute than waste 8 more of them. But 2 other programs don't care about your address, and 1 will replace your furnace. Group 4 rents, or hasn't hit 62 yet. That's not a consolation prize. There's real money here, and a phone number. Nobody gets dismissed today. I went through the federal rules for USDA rural development, and the programs your state runs on federal money. I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not a CPA. I can't run your file, and I won't quote a number I can't stand behind. You'll catch me refusing 3 times before we're done. One quick thing, since you may have seen the headlines. Congress passed a housing repair law on July 11th, setting up a whole home repair pilot at Housing and Urban Development. It pays nobody today. There's no money attached to it, no application, and not one line in it written for seniors. Everything else I'm about to tell you exists right now. If that's the line you want drawn for you, what's real versus what's a press release, subscribing costs nothing and it's the whole ask. So, Group 1, 62 or older, small town, and a monthly payment is out of the question. The program is USDA Section 504, and it lives inside the Department of Agriculture. Agriculture. That's half the reason you've never heard of it, because nobody with a bad roof goes hunting through the farm department. The grant side pays up to $10,000, once, for life. If the president has declared your county a disaster area, that ceiling lifts to $15,000, which is $5,000 more for the same paperwork, and most people in a declared county never find out. Go get a roof quote this week. Whatever number sits at the bottom of that page, $10,000 comes off the top, and nothing ever comes back out of your check. Not next month, not in 10 years, not ever. Here's the arithmetic that shows what that's worth. This same program lends at 1% over 20 years. So if you borrowed $10,000 on those terms instead of being granted it, you'd send somebody about $46 a month, every month, for 240 months. Roughly $11,000 walking out of your account. The grant is that $11,000 staying in it. Now the grant has 2 tests, and you need both. You have to be 62 or older, and you have to be unable to repay a repair loan. Both, not one. I'm blunt about that on purpose, because there are people telling seniors that turning 62 is the qualification, and it isn't. Age is half the door. The other half is that this money was written for people who genuinely can't carry a payment. Then the rules groups 1 and 2 share. You have to own the home and live in it, your main residence, not a rental you own, not the place at the lake. Your household income has to sit at or below half the area median income for your county, which in plain English is the middle income where you live, cut in half. And your town generally has to be under 35,000 people. There's a savings rule too, and it bends toward you. You can keep up to $15,000 in liquid savings and still qualify. And at 62, that goes to $20,000. $5,000 of extra breathing room for having a birthday. What will it pay for? Health and safety hazards. That's their language, and it's a real limit. Wiring that could burn the place down, a furnace that quit, a roof pushing water into your walls, no safe way in or out of your own front door. It won't buy you a kitchen. Don't ask it to. There's one string on this money, and only one. Sell that home inside 3 years, and you pay the grant back. Their wording is that grants do not have to be repaid unless the property is sold in less than 3 years. Stay 3 years and a day, and you never repay a dollar. Run it as math, and it's about $278 a month you earn for staying put across those 36 months. Sit still, and it's yours. Your move, Group 1. Go to rd.usda.gov or find your local rural development office and walk in. Ask for Section 504, say the word grant and not loan, and say your age in your first sentence, because 62 is the key that opens that side of the door. Group 2 then. 62 or older, same small town, but you could handle a payment. Some of you just wrote yourselves off because I said the grant goes to people who can't repay a loan. Don't. The other half of 504 is the half nobody talks about, and in raw dollars it's 4 times bigger. $40,000 at 1%, fixed, for 20 years, paid back monthly. Let me say the rate again because people's ears corrected on the way in. 1%. Not 1.9. Not 1% for a teaser year and then whatever the bank feels like in year 2. Here's what that does to a payment. About $184 a month. Under $200 for a new roof and a furnace and the wiring finally done right. Add up the whole term and you'll pay back about $44,150. So borrowing $40,000 for 2 decades costs you roughly $4,150 in interest, which is around $17 a month averaged across the life of the loan. I won't tell you what a home equity loan costs this week because rates move and I'm not inventing one to make a point. Do this instead. Go price one, get a real quote on $40,000 and set their monthly payment beside $184. Then decide how you feel about the Department of Agriculture. And you can stack the two, loan and grant together, up to $50,000 or $55,000 in a declared disaster area. Read that slowly because it's where people get excited and then get disappointed. $50,000 is the ceiling for the two combined, and the grant half still has to pass its own 2 tests, 62 and the repayment test. But clear both, and $50,000 of work on your house leaves you paying about $184 a month. Say that out loud in your kitchen tonight. Why doesn't everybody have this? Because none of it is automatic. There's no clerk whose job is to look up who turned 62 this year and mail them $10,000. Your move, Group 2. Same office, different words. Ask for the Section 504 loan, then ask them to run the grant test on you anyway. Make them tell you no. Don't do it for them from your armchair. Group 3, you're not in a small town. But check first, because rural is a legal word here, not a feeling, and the line is looser than you'd think. We're generally talking about a town under 35,000 people. 35,000. That's not a farm in a silo, that's a place with a Walmart and 2 high schools. USDA runs an income and property eligibility website where you type your address in, and it tells you yes or no in a minute. Do that tonight before you count yourself out. I've watched people rule themselves out of $10,000 on a hunch because their town has a target. But say you checked and it came back no. Then 504 is shut to you, and I won't dangle it for another 4 minutes to keep you sitting here. That door isn't yours. This is. The Weatherization Assistance Program, and everybody calls it WAP. Throw out the picture that word puts in your head, some fellow in a vest pressing foam around a window frame. A crew comes to your house, insulates it, hunts down every draft, and seals it. And here's the part people don't believe. They will repair or replace your heating equipment. Your furnace, the one thing standing between you and February. Free. There's no population rule on it. None. Your address doesn't lock you out of weatherization the way it locks you out of 504. Income limits vary by state because your state runs this with federal money through local agencies. That's the honest answer, and I'm not inventing a national number to sound smarter than I am. So here's your own arithmetic, since I won't hand you mine. Dig out your heating bill from last January. That's not one bad month. That's a bill you'll pay again every year for as long as you own the house. Multiply it by the months you run the furnace, then by 20 years. Now picture that same total with the attic insulated and the draft sealed. I can't promise you the drop, but you can see what's on the table, and it repeats for 2 decades. Then LIHEAP, the Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program. It isn't a repair, and I'll be straight with you about that, but it's why a lot of repairs never happen. When the bill eats the money, the roof waits another year. It doesn't mail you a check. It pays your utility company directly, so the money goes over your head, lands on the bill, and the bill shrinks or disappears. And people 60 and over often get priority, which puts you near the front of that line instead of the back. Here's the trap. First come, first served. It's a pot of money, and when the pot's empty, it's empty, and they tell you to try next year. Your neighbor didn't get it because he's luckier. He called earlier. Your move, Group 3. Dial 211 and ask for 2 things by name, the Weatherization Program in your county and LIHEAP. Then ask what day your state opens applications and put that day on the calendar hanging on your wall. Not in your head, on the wall. Group 4. You rent, or you're not 62 yet. You've sat through 3 groups of homeowner talk, and I know how that felt, so here's what's yours. LIHEAP never asks whether your name is on a deed. It's an energy bill program, and a bill is a bill. Same 3 digits, 211. Same question about the opening day. Same arithmetic on your own January statement. Under 62, you may not have the priority a 65-year-old gets, and that's the honest read. But first come, first serve cuts both ways, and calling on day 1 is something anybody can do. And then the one almost nobody can even name, your Area Agency on Aging. Every county in this country has one. Yours does. Right now, today, staffed, with a phone that rings. And I bet the house you can't tell me what it's called. It's a local office whose entire job is people over 60 in your county. Buried in what they do, under a heading nobody reads, is help with minor home repair and home modification. Grab bars in the bathroom where people your age get hurt worst. A ramp, a rotted step, a door that shuts and locks the way a door should. What they'll cover and who varies by area. They're local offices, so I won't quote a figure I can't stand behind. That's the third time I've refused you a number, and I'd rather you trust the ones I do give you. If you're not 60 yet, that office isn't yours. Not yet. But 211 still is, and so is LIHEAP. Why does nobody use it? Because it doesn't sound like money. It sounds like a government office with a long gray name, so it gets skipped by the exact people it was built for. Your move, Group 4. 211 or eldercare.acl.gov. Ask for the Area Agency on Aging in your county, then say this sentence: I need help with home repair and home modification. And here's what makes that one call worth more than it looks. That office knows every program I've named today. They'll point you at weatherization. They'll point you at the energy money. And if your address turns out rural after all, they know who to call at rural development. One number, and you're standing inside all four groups' answers at once. Let me put it back together, group by group, because somebody just walked in late. Group 1, 62 or older, small town, can't carry a payment. The Section 504 grant, $10,000, 15 in a disaster county, never repaid if you're still there in 3 years. r-d.u-s-d-a.gov and say your age first. Group 2, 62 or older, small town, and you can carry a payment. The Section 504 loan, $40,000 at 1% over 20 years, about $184 a month, about $4,150 in interest, and up to $50,000 stacked with the grant. Make them run the grant test on you. Group 3, city or suburb. Check your address on USDA's eligibility site first, because that 35,000 line is wider than it sounds. Then 211, weatherization for the furnace and the insulation, LIHEAP for the bill, and ask the date application's open. Group 4, renting or under 62. 211 for LIHEAP, eldercare.acl.gov for your Area Agency on Aging, and the sentence is, I need help with home repair and home modification. Not one of these will ever come looking for you. No letter is coming. That's not a conspiracy. It's just how the thing was built, and nobody's job is to find you. The people who get this money aren't smarter than you, and they're not better connected. They picked up the phone and said the program's name out loud. Do me one favor. Send this to one person over 65 who owns their home, the one whose porch you've been worrying about all summer. That's how this actually reaches people. Not from an agency, from you. And tell me in the comments which group you landed in. 1, 2, 3, or 4, just the number. I want to see how many of you found out about a $10,000 grant from a stranger on the internet, decades after you started paying for it.